duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know this. No matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Sundays, holidays, vacation time, we must be ready every day, all the time, to do the right thing if the atomic bomb explodes. Duck and cover. That's the first thing to do. Duck and cover. First, you duck. Then, you cover. You duck and cover tight. Duck and cover under the table. It's a bomb. Duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You and you and you and you. Duck and cover.
Anyway, how is everybody doing this week? Duck and cover, y'all. Duck and cover! Damn it, they coming! The nukes and the atom bombs, they coming, y'all. The enemy. Who is the enemy? Anybody. Everybody's the enemy. Damn it. Iran, North Korea, Russia. Everybody's the enemy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter who the enemy is. The enemy is, as long as there's an enemy, we're good to go. That's all we need. There's an enemy, we're good to go. We talk about, oh man, we might, not sure how much time I got today. I got started a little late. Shoot, damn it. We can make priests the enemy. We can be, yes, we can make nuns the enemy, y'all, because we did. Not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about Chiquita Banana, murdering people for banana plantations, why bananas in every damn grocery store all of the United States, you can't get a banana that ain't Chiquita Banana. But they done got away with it. It's okay. Buy some judges, buy some lawyers. You can murder a couple thousand people with death squads. It's okay, y'all. They're dead. They're gone. You know, and we Christian. We the Christian nation, y'all. Because that's what Jesus has said. Jesus has said you're supposed to murder people so you can grow some bananas. That's Jesus said that. Jesus ain't say that. In case you don't know, sometimes I make jokes. Jesus ain't nothing like that. That's so I don't know how much I'm gonna go down that road. That's not funny at all. But we did that. Oh yeah, we funded the death squads, y'all. They were murdering priests in South America, Honduras, Guatemala, Venezuela, Colombia, like it wasn't nothing. We were dropping them like flies. Activists, poor people standing up against our needs to make money. Oh, we done took them out. We the Christian nation, though. Christian nation that don't know a damn thing about Christ. But this is not a religious thing. We're not. I tend to come from the perspectives that I know. Yo, I was raised in the church. And me, like I said, I'm Christian. I love my God, which is why I know 99.99% of people who say they're Christian, Lord, they need to read a book. Maybe they need to read the Bible. So anyway, how y'all doing this morning? I'm got a little bit of a late start. Look like we got a bunch of people in the room. Good morning, Brother Mark, Renee, Mary, Danelle, Brother John is in the house. You need some of the bananas for your smoothie, Danelle? No, you don't. You don't need them bananas. You don't need none of them bananas. Those are Chiquita bananas. Every time I go to the grocery store, I want to go ahead and make a smoothie. I can't find any bananas that aren't Chiquita. Maybe it's just the area I live in. But I want to find non-bloody bananas. I want some no-blood bananas. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about? Go ahead and Eco-Asia. Don't Google. Go ahead and Eco-Asia Chiquita Banana Death Squads. And you will find out that they were prosecuted and convicted of hiring death squads. This is like the details and the information that people need to know. That's why I appreciate y'all sharing all my silly stuff. It's silly, but it's truth. We done did all this. It's so true, it's silly as all hell that we support this stuff and people still supporting it today. Like, oh, our side, we the good side. Ain't no good side. There is one good side, and that's human. If you were in any other group than that, you got some real issues. I love you to death, but if you don't see what's going on, us handing this whole world to corporations, And the corporations aren't the bad guys. Like I said, they don't have horns and bifurcated tails. They do what they're supposed to do. They're going to get away with as much profit as is legal. And they understand if they change what's legal, damn it, they can make a hell of a lot of profit. So they buy all your parties and your politicians and they murder a bunch of people, make a whole mess of money. And you don't really notice it if you're in America because you're living good and your latte is only $3-4. You excited that it's Christmas time. You can get yourself a Christmas themed latte. But anyway. Let me stop, not go down that road. What do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, I was having a thought. I'm going to try to get into some of the news. But so anyway, we hanging out in the Chiquita Banana Plantation. It's important. Don't burn it down. Y'all out there knocking statues down. Don't burn down Chiquita Plantation. We need to be reminded of history, right? Like, that's how we know. That's why I say leave Robert E. Lee statues alone. We need to be reminded of history. Right. We need the young people who are being taught in schools to look at the statue and say, that's the enemy. And have somebody say something like, you know how progressive Robert E. Lee was? He was more progressive than most people in the North. He was more progressive than everybody, all the progressives today. Because he got rid of his slaves and we won't get rid of ours. We are still murdering people in South America for some cheap bananas. But okay. I like the truth, and what bothers me, and I got into a great discussion yesterday, what bothers me is in the universities, they are teaching kids half-truths. Like the kids are coming out of the universities angry and misinformed. And so it's important that we talk about the truth because it's never ever black and white. It ain't nothing black and white. It's always mixtures of all kind of gray and evil. But if you can't be honest about, what the problems are, you can't even get anywhere. And thank you, Brother Don. Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Can't recommend it enough. You guys, you gotta, again, everything is colonies and colonizers. So anyway, I had this idea. I was thinking about something. Let me tell you about something. Let me show you a picture. I was thinking about this. Sometimes I try to come up with analogies because they help me process my own thoughts and think about stuff. And we talk about unity, right? Bringing together the human race. Why? Because there's only one group on this planet. It's a human. What if, like Avatar, all the humans on this planet, they're just sensors? What if we are all just sensors? Like, the example I give is a car. A car has sensors, right? So somebody's driving a car. Car has sensors in the tires. What's the inflate? How inflated they are. Why? Because if they deflate, the car crashes. The car has sensors for how much gas and air is going into the engine. Because if that's wrong, the car could blow up or the engine could just stop. The car has sensors for if you left the light on. If you leave the light on, the thing beeps at you now. So your battery doesn't run down. So the car has sensors all over it, everywhere, because it helps it to drive efficiently. Oh, the car has sensors for the airbag, right? For impact. You get into an impact now. Now this isn't for everybody. This is just for the ignorant, privileged nations like the one I live in. We are ignorantly privileged. We have cars. Check this out. We have cars that when we get in impacts, the air is a balloon, not the ones you hang up, but a balloon that's in the steering wheel, and it blows up in our face so we don't get hurt. Because we got to protect this. We're Americans, and we got to make sure this stays pretty in the West because everything is just surface. Underneath, you can be all kind of sick and dying, but you can't hurt how things look. Everything's about perpetration, how things look. Superficialness. But so even the airbag sensor, right? The sensor goes off, crash sensor, the airbag blows up in your face. So what if we have 7 billion sensors all over this planet? Well, I guess we got to make room for the psychopath. But the psychopaths, they're the elite, they're sensors too. They're sensors too. And they're caught up in the BS they're caught up in this violent planet that we're caught up into. So they're sensors too. They're sensors, y'all. But what if all of it, they might be malfunctioning sensors. They might get bad data, but all that data feeds back into this massive brain, right? What if there's one Earth brain, one Earth human brain, and the only way, like a car's computer, it can make an intelligent decision is if it has data from all the different sensors. And while being impossible, obviously, to interface with 7 billion people, every day the internet allows you to interface with more. And so a car that's only functioning on part of its sensor, I mean, one sensor goes. If you don't get data from one sensor, every decision a car makes could be wrong and you could crash. Rest in peace, Michael, I forget his name, Michael in California, where they took over his car and they crashed him, the journalist, they crashed him into the thing. He said, the FBI chasing me, and all of a sudden his car went 190 miles an hour and ran into a post and the engine flew out 300 feet. So sensors, y'all, sensors are important. They can mean everything. False data, psychopath sensors. Anyway, that's too deep. That's way too far. But what if we can't make good decisions? I mean, good decisions because we don't have data from all the sensors. Like, so it's important for root cause analysis and to not be a dumb car. You want to be a smartphone, like a smart car. You don't want to be a dumb car or a half data car that crashes and murders and kills people. And so what if the planet's like the car? But the car is probably a bad example. Probably the best example, I think, would be an airplane, right? I think the human race, we used to be a car. We used to be a car because if the sensors broke down, so go back to like our before modern industrialization, right? Before we had the ability to make weapons that could murder millions of people and duck and cover came out. Like the lights could go out and we don't crash. The car won't, because we're on the ground. Well, the car might crash, but we could get out. The human race, we'd make it because we don't have technology. It's not a technology that would murder everybody in the car. Somebody might make it. But now I think we're more like an airplane, right? Because we're not even in a place where if the lights go out, we can take care of ourselves. It was in 1918 or something when they had that massive solar flare. The electricity went out for large parts of the United States and plummeted into darkness. But we still had candles, right? So we weren't really, and a lot of us still didn't have electricity. So we made it. Now we need all of this. So we're not really like a car. We're more like an airplane, I think. Let me put this up here. I think in my analogy, we're more like an airplane. We got sensors coming in from everywhere. And the criticality in that thought process is that if, we're not on the ground anymore, we are in the air. We cannot take care of ourselves. We are highly dependent upon infrastructure and power and electricity and, well, they're the same thing, aren't they? Water and food and all the systems. So we are much more fragile now than we've ever been, which means we are much more dependent on the data we get from all of these sensors all over this airplane. And so what I'm kind of talking about, my son sending me pictures. That boy's supposed to be at school. Yeah, anyway, I have no idea. He was telling me, poor child. He told me this morning, he said, when they take tests, the kids who don't have to take the test, they watch the movie Lorax. I'm sitting here like, why in the hell am I paying taxes so y'all could show my son the movie Lorax? That's another whole thing. So he's sending me pictures of Lorax, proving, look, Dad, we ain't doing nothing. So anyway, that's another story. So, but I think that we are a airplane that's flying through space, an airplane called an Earth. And we need sensors from Syria. We need our sensors active from Russia. We need our sensors active from Honduras. We need our sensors active from parts of Africa, even North America and Canada. Why? Because when you get that information, that data from your brothers and sisters that live in those different countries, and you realize what really is going on, then maybe clapping's not such a good idea. Like maybe if you realize that, yes, not only were we killing priests because they were communists and we were supporting the death squads, we were training them, we were arming them, we were funding them, and they were murdering priests like hotcakes. And now these were priests, and these weren't the typical modern priests, right? These weren't the ones that diddling little kids. These were the priests that were actually standing up for the poor. These were priests because they lived in impoverished conditions. And they were standing up because, hey, you guys are bringing all this technology down here. You're mining, taking everything we got. You're flying away. We need to build up our people. And that was such an evil message that they started murdering the police. And if that wasn't evil enough, I'm kind of talking to a certain community, but I won't say their name. But if that wasn't evil enough, they picked the most evil thing that you could possibly do. I don't know. Being a man, probably one of the most evil things I can think of is somebody raping a woman. I don't think it gets much more evil than that. And so they didn't just rape a woman though. 'Cause not all women are created equal. They were raping nuns. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Go Eco Asia and find out. And so we're supporting this and we're paying for this. And if you don't have data from that Honduras censor that's saying, damn it, our government's corrupt, Hernandez is corrupt, get him the hell out of here. He is a U.S. shill. He works for the State Department. That's why there are bases all over our country, so y'all can go murder people all over South America, because we're almost basically like Colombia. We're a staging area for forces to fly all over South America and do the dirt that they're doing, economic hitmen type stuff. If we don't have that data, then we can't make a good decision. And so when Congress says something and the president says something, we start clapping. There was something I was going to post. Oh, Mary, no, you hit a bone on that one, Mary. Yeah, I see raping children. Yeah, and that I agree. But a certain gender child too. Well, no, I don't think we're children. I don't think I make that delineation. I think when you go to kids, but they were doing that too. Did y'all know there was a guy? Oh my gosh, you took me down the avenue today. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. There was a guy, what was his name? Oh my God, I think he came out of Colombia. Let me see if I can find this. He actually was known. He not only was one of the ones running the death squads, the American death squads, he was actually known for raping children so much that his nickname, I think, was it the Drill? Because that's that his main thing was he liked little boys or something like that. Oh man. And so I know I'm gonna mess some of the facts up, but the crazy thing was, and so recently, what was it like? It's in the last few decades anyway, that they were being prosecuted in Colombia. They were about to be prosecuted. There were about, was it 20 of them, 20 of the leaders who ran the death squads for America, and Chiquita Banana and companies. I get in trouble, you start throwing names out there. Chiquita was the one that was caught, but there were a whole bunch of other corporations that are still in existence today. And what they did is they flew in, America, we grabbed all of these leaders of these death squads, and we took them to America and we prosecuted them for minor drug crimes. And I think, was it last year, the first one got out, and now they're all starting to get out of jail. And so instead of being prosecuted in Colombia or Venezuela, they're now free. I had to check my facts and the data, but it's crazy you brought that back to mind. But all of this feeds together. All of this, it's the same damn thing. If you don't have censors, and how did this happen? Because there was a censor in Colombia, the people who were saying, help, you're murdering us and taking our land. That's what was happening. That's what we're doing in other parts of South America too. And so a lot of them got murdered. We murdered whole towns, took the land to plant bananas, to build bases and put in mining resources. And we're doing that now with that movie on Netflix, going in and murdering the indigenous. Same thing all over the world. No. So anyway, we're gonna jump into. But this was an analogy I was thinking. I was thinking about this morning. And so when you think about unity, it's a sensor type of unity, right? You want to be a functioning computer where you can make good decisions and sound intelligent when you say things. Get all the data, which is why I say it's okay to say stuff and be wrong. Go out there and say something and let somebody come back and say, well, no, that's not exactly true, because boop, pop the facts and you, oh, okay, I was wrong on that. Wow, it's okay. And so, but do you want to have a computer that's functioning, an Earth that actually is functioning? Or do you want to have an Earth that eventually will crash? Because I don't think anybody's at the helm of this. Like, we can say, oh, there's a great cabal and aliens and what do they call it? The Rothschilds and these. I actually don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't really think that they're in control. I don't think they're flying the airplane. I think that you have multiple greed structures and all these oligarchical groups and companies, and they're all vying for power, and nobody's actually flying the earth. I think the earth is on a profit descent. It is descending to crash because we aren't getting data from all of our sensors, and nobody, and and the data that comes in, you still need someone operating the plane, and nobody's operating this plane. This plane is because they're fighting over control of it. That's what it is. The cabin's locked, and 1%'s in the cabin fighting each other, trying to get control, but they're still on one accord, probably trying to keep the airplane up because they want something to, when they finally get somewhere. It's the people in the back, the ignorant people on first class and second class, and the people back by the toilets. I don't call them toilets, I call them toilets. They're back there by the toilets, and they're all fighting in between each other. Oh, you stunk up the bathroom. Why'd you close the door? Use some air freshener. And they're back there fighting over dumb stuff. Will you close your blinds? And I'm trying to sleep, and you got the blinds open, and who drank all the Coca-Colas? No more. And y'all like fighting over dumb stuff in the back of the plane. And the people in the front of the plane, they got control of everything. So anyway, I'm not going any further down. That was my analogy, something I was thinking about this morning. So Iran got nukes again, y'all. That was in the news this morning. They're talking about Iran got nukes again. So Iran, it seemed like every couple of months, Iran always get nukes again. They always, for some reason, it doesn't seem like they ever. Well, first of all, what is the significance of Iran getting a nuke? If Iran gets a nuke, it's going to be peace in Iran. Because America going to leave them alone. It's just like North Korea. You get your nuke, you're safe. You're not indigenous people no more. We can't just come over there and murder you and take what you got and give it to Wall Street. And so Iran, what they're talking about is Iran is, they're close to having their nuclear weapon. And I could have swore 20 years ago I heard that again. Whenever they found that laptop in the IAEA 732A Elemental P, whatever that name of that group is, they keep going back to that damn laptop, the data. The laptop that Iran said, oh, okay, well, if there's some nuclear stuff on there that we've been up to, let some independent computer scientists look at the computer. And America won't let them look at the computer. So that computer. So they're back to talking about Iran got nukes and they're getting close. I'm not going to play that clip because it's pointless, but it's just the same thing. Like they're building up the rhetoric. They're trying to get you to a point where you'll say, oh, well, it's a good thing we need to go and murder people in Iran. That's a good idea. Kind of the same way they got the Christians back in the 50s and all the way up till to now. It's a good idea to go murder people, because of Israel. Let's go murder some people. Let's make a whole lot of sense. Christ would just get on board with the murder effort. Let's just, because they dehumanize people. And you get to a point where you think, maybe my God didn't make that center data. Maybe that child of God that, that lives in Palestine, wherever they live. And so it's the same thing in Iran where they're trying to convince you, oh, you don't need no data from Iran. Those sensors are malfunctioning anyway. We need to go murder all of them. So that's my analogy. I'm pushing it a little bit down that direction. I have to flush it out. But so that's what's happening with Iran. They're trying to convince you that it makes sense to go in and murder a bunch of people. Me, I totally disagree. I completely disagree. I think if every country had nuclear weapons, no war would exist anywhere. That's what I think. Problem is, when you have a lot of nukes, somebody eventually probably will use them. If Iran, and I guarantee you, if they think Iran might kind of sort of have nukes, they already got nukes. They're probably in suitcases and they're probably all over the United States somewhere. So like, this is how these things work. These states, they're not dummies. Just because they live in the Middle East and it's hot and America tells you that they're dumb and their brains aren't they got the same brains we got. As a matter of fact, a lot of their brains work a hell of a lot better. So they plan this stuff out like every other government, So don't be confused to think, oh, we're going to go over there and do something and it's not going to hurt us. Oh, no. If we go into Iran, it's going to hurt you. Your kids are going to feel it just like my kids are going to feel it. Like we're all going to feel it. We need to leave people alone. We need to get back to world peace. And when you have equality, you have peace. That's how it works. I don't want everybody to have nukes, but we did it, right? We started it. We dropped the first bomb. We made the nukes. We took the world in this direction We keep buying arms and voting for the politicians that are buying all the arms and selling all the arms. And so every other nation's going to do that. Like, that's how it works. If your neighbor starts buying a bunch of guns and, starts putting ammunition in the back, you see a damn tank or something in the back, you, what the hell? You are either going to do one of two things. You're going to start buying some of your own stuff thinking he's about to invade you, or you're going to call the police and bring somebody else with some guns to deal with him, because that's how it works. And so America is marching everybody down this path. Yes, Kristen, I agree. It's disarming is the route. And we can do that after America gets back in control of their government. Unfortunately, America is not. But then it also would require Russia and China, who are significantly less spending on arms. They're much more human. They don't invest, the lion's share of their GDP in murder technology. That's just us, and so everybody else is trying to keep up with us. And so I'm all on, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I'm not a gun person. Like, I like technology and I like guns, but, I think that being a human being, your number one creative project that you're constantly and consistently working on, it shouldn't be murder technology. So anyway, so Iran got that. Oh, what else Iran? Oh, let me show you. They're trying to scare you. Iran got something else. What else Iran? I'm not scared. I guess, they do this stuff. You're supposed to be scared, so then they put it on the news and you watch like, oh, Lord, here we go. So this is what we're supposed to be scared of right now. Iran is working on something. Oh, my God, look at this. Uh-oh. Iran got a ship, y'all. We in trouble now. Although, I'm sure it's a great ship. And I'm sure, they got a new, what is this? A new warship. It's got surface-to-surface missiles. And, yeah, the only thing I'm going to tell you, though, is America, they've been at it a long time. Their murder technology is, it's primo. It's their murder tech. So Iran has that, and they trying to, so everyone's trying to drum this stuff up like, oh, we're marching towards war. It's still, unfortunately, if you go into Iran, it's going to be a bloodbath. It always is a bloodbath, because we don't go fight people who have anything to fight. We're the bully. We always pick on people who have absolutely nothing and who can't fight back. So that's what's going on with Iran. They're trying to drum that up. I was talking about Honduras earlier, and so with Honduras, they've got the elections they're contesting, right, which everybody's contesting elections because America got their fingers, the West got their fingers in everybody's election. And so let me see, where are we at? I want to take you to a couple clips from Days in Revolt. Chris Hedges and Alan Darren are some amazing gentlemen. But there's some very specific things. I was watching this interview. Some very specific things jumped out that kind of touched me in talking about the Honduras elections and what happened. So what happened in Honduras is Hernandez, he was running up against another cat. Forgot his name. It's the same. There's so much happening. It's hard to remember everybody's name. But so the people stood up and said, nope, those are rigged elections. They're false results. The police started, coming down on the people, and then America. We always do something dumb, if I understand it right. We then stood. You know what? I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna play it. The details were important. So hold on. Because it plays into what we're doing all over the world. It's like some people, they like to look back and they say, oh, well, we used to do that. We don't do that anymore. And it's like, no, we're still doing this stuff. This stuff hasn't stopped. We are still murder, death, kill. We are still up to the same dumb stuff we always have been, which is why people need to know about it. Okay, somewhere around now, we had a good explanation right here. And I'm not going to play this whole thing for you. I'll post it, but man, it's just, there was a congresswoman talking. I don't know who she is, but she really set me the wrong way.
Electoral uprising against the government and the oligarchy who are trying to impose Hernandez, who was a protege of White House Chief of Staff General Kelly, for another term. And then something extraordinary happened last night where the poor were joined in this revolt by a big chunk of the security forces. The the police at the Cobra headquarters. Cobra is an elite unit that is charged with working on things like counterterrorism, narcotics. For hours upon end, police from all over, from many different units, came streaming into the headquarters to support their rebellion, their uprising, their refusal to carry out any more repression. At one point, according to the police there who I spoke to, it appeared that about 1/5 of the entire national police force had gathered inside the Cobra headquarters, and reports from all over the country show that this is happening everywhere else. This was triggered in important part by a decision by the U.S. State Department taken on Tuesday, the 28th, to certify that Honduras was honoring human rights and fighting corruption. With that certification, that green-lighted new U.S. aid to Honduras essentially, in effect, gave a green light to complete the fraud and also gave a green light for state escalation of what has really become a class war.
So basically, there's a class war happening in Honduras. America said, you know, Honduras, you're not violating any human rights. Here's some money. Keep the class war going. Put down the revolt of those stupid poor people trying to actually get their country back from corruption. This is what we do. And so the police, they stood down. They were like, oh, mother, what? You know, and they backed down, which you'll never, well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see that in America sometime. But the police realized, oh, wait a minute, no, America. And a lot of them were trained by America, which is deep, you know, within itself. But people aren't stupid. People aren't stupid. They understand that their countries live in conditions of corruption. But I'm going to keep going, hold it, because I want you to hear something else. I'm running out of time, and I do want you to hear some stuff. So I shut my mouth up a little bit.
Well, I mean, historically, Honduras has been essentially an extension of the U.S. Pentagon and State Department. The current regime really dates back to the 80s, when the U.S. was mounting the Contra attack against Nicaragua, established massive military bases in Honduras as the point of attack to go after what U.S. General Galvin described as soft targets in Nicaragua, namely civilians. John Negroponte, who was the U.S. ambassador to Honduras at the time, presided over the stand-up of Battalion 316, which was essentially an army death squad, which did mass assassinations of Honduran dissidents and clergy, activists, etc. After the 2009 coup, which at the time got de facto support from Hillary Clinton and President Obama, the death squads made a reappearance. And again, in the years since the 2009 coup, activists in the countryside have been in danger of assassination.
My president? Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta cue something else up. So you mean to tell me? This is what I'm saying. Like, y'all, you have to pay attention. Hold on, I'm gonna show you something else. I'm not done. I will show you two more things. People, they run off and they think, oh yeah, well, my president is a good president. He's a good man, and just, I don't think any presidents make any decisions for themselves. So yeah, the death squads did magically come back. Hold on, I'm not done.
Through mainly U.S. Special Forces, the CIA, and be able to put a president on trial and do that. But Salvador is a very interesting example. The Salvadoran death squad apparatus was created by the U.S., starting during the Kennedy administration, through through mainly U.S. Special Forces, the CIA, and also the old version of U.S. AID.
And let me just, for people who don't know Salvador, back up. Half of the people in El Salvador were landless. It was controlled by a tiny oligarchic elite known as the 10 families. There were more than 10. And there was constant political movement on the parts of the landless, of labor unions, of students groups, of indigenous groups, to attempt to organize, to lift themselves out of crushing poverty.
Okay, hold on. Landless and poverty. Okay, these guys are the terrorists. Make sure y'all understand. These are the terrorists.
And so the Praetorian Guard, the military that was acting on behalf of the oligarchic elite began assassinating, as you point out, going all the way back to the Matanza in 1932, but certainly in the 50s and 60s, and then it accelerated up to the war, all of these leaders. So
Right. And the U.S. Created this, starting during the Kennedy administration and continuing all the way up, created this intelligence gathering system which linked Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua. They would have central files organized for them with the help of the CIA, and they would teach them how to go out and watch on a systematic basis the campuses, the courts, the plantations, especially the factories run by the local oligarchs, but also the American investors, and they would compile files. And in El Salvador, some people showed me some of these actual files. And General Medrano, who was seen as the godfather of the Salvadoran death squads, because starting in the late 60s and through the early 80s, he was the leader working on behalf of the U.S. in organizing this system. He actually sat down, I spent 13 hours interviewing him on tape, and he drew diagrams. And he explained to me how the Salvadoran priests, the nuns, the catechists, the unionists, they were all controlled by Moscow. And he would draw these schematics showing from Moscow to Havana to here to there. And he said, so they all became targets, and it was our mission to kill them. And he described
a mission to kill them because Russia did it. So, of course, we had to go murder a bunch of priests, nuns, rape the nuns before you murder them. And this made a whole lot of sense. Christian nation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I'm not done. Hold on. I'm almost there. We're getting there. I want to show you, right?
1,000 by some estimates. In one day in the library of the Politecnica, the military academy of Guatemala, I found the Spanish translation of a U.S. military counterinsurgency document, which gave instruction on how to create terror. This was the way they put it. And they described methods used in the Philippines in the campaign against the Huks. And the particular campaign they were talking about was very interesting, because they were talking about some operations that were done after World War II.
Oh, this was in 45, 46,
Yeah,
right.
when some of the communists who had helped join with the U.S. to fight against the Japanese occupiers and help expel the Japanese occupiers, immediately after the Japanese occupiers were expelled, the U.S. then turned against these the communist allies to try to crush them. And in this document appearing in the Guatemalan Military Library, they were describing how to terrorize the population by using precisely that tactic. In the case of the Philippines, they were talking about leaving the bodies by the rivers. So you mutilate the bodies, you cut them, you amputate, and then you display the bodies on the riversides to stir terror in the population. And of course, that's exactly what ISIS is doing today.
But did you hear that? Exactly what ISIS. So when y'all getting all upset about, oh, they're cutting people's heads off, they're monsters, they're cutting their hands, and it was a terror manual that we did. And it didn't go back there. It also went back to Vietnam. And so why? So you look at all this stuff happening. It's not just ISIS. And then it's also, and where were we talking about yesterday? That was, oh my God, there's so many countries where they're cutting off people's hands, and and they were for the diamonds, the blood diamonds, and there's so many. Was it Sierra Leone, right? Same thing. And they're cutting. This is all terror that we do all the damn time. The only difference is ISIS does it on tape. We don't. Why is that possible? Maybe because we tell ISIS to put it on tape, so they do get blamed. They're trained to do that, but we did it all the time and we didn't put it on tape. I'm gonna go one more time. Like, this is all of this never stopped, and it still goes on today. And it's all so you can get your guns, keep yourself at Second Amendment, get your health care, get your single payer, so you can have all the little tiddlywinks because you're in the back arguing about somebody left the bathroom open in the back of the airplane. Meanwhile, the people in the front of the airplane are doing all of this and you're in support of it. Hold on, let me tell you one more thing.
In recent years in Afghanistan, now in Iraq and Syria, it's reached the point of political and social breakdown.
Right.
where there's really no stopping it. It's out of control. They're not just two sides. It fractures into many sides. In some ways, I think it's in certain ways analogous to what happened in Cambodia with the massive U.S. bombing of Cambodia, which paved the way for the rise of the Khmer,
Which created a failed state.
Because it destroys normal, any semblance of normal politics or even society. So in that kind of environment, the most evil, the most violent have a better chance to rise and to prevail.
Destabilizing countries so that there is no real political system surviving. There's no real society surviving. So the most evil criminals can prevail. This is what we do. This is what we've always been doing. If you don't understand that there are no countries, these are just corporations. They have multiple shares in all countries, and they do this all over the planet, and they keep you arguing in your country that your political parties are significant, and they all feed up to the same corporations that buy them all out. They utilize the U.S. military as their security force to make sure whatever resources are in your countries, they keep pumping out to those corporations. This is why we don't have a lot of time. This gets back to my original analogy, that we are basically on an airplane, and we've got sensor data coming in from all over the airplane. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. This is why I say make some friends internationally. Don't be dumb, stupid, and be focused on American politics. This is why I don't even know American politics wise what's even happening in the United States. Honestly, I don't care. I got in a conversation with a guy yesterday. The guy was telling me there's a conspiracy about Trump feeding some koi. And I'm sitting like, what? He said something about Trump was in Japan and he had koi, and I love koi. I love my koi, but and he was throwing fish food in, or he threw the whole bowl in or something like, oh, and there's a conspiracy about Trump feeding koi. The only reason I don't smack people is because I'm not around people a whole lot. I stay away. I'm just like, this is news. This is what people in America are actually talking about. Meanwhile, we're doing this all over the world. And so, of course, the State Department is standing up for the Honduran government. And so this is what happens. And this is why I'm saying that the planet has one collective brain. And it's all of the human beings and all of the sensor data that's coming in so we all can make good decisions, not impartial decisions on partial data. We were talking about the universities and how they're teaching very partial politics. The universities that are taking over, unfortunately, and this is, and I know I'm hard on conservatives too, but this is the liberal side of it, right? Because and then I don't know if y'all are anti-conservative. I don't know what y'all are, but y'all teach that hardcore, super liberal, but not liberating, one-sided speak, and you ban conservatives from speaking in your universities. But see, it drums up this angst and hate for both sides. When you feed censor data from everybody, from all walks of life, all religions, all faiths, all places, all countries, you actually have a world view, which is what everybody needs to have right now. Because what's happening in your local community is happening in local communities all over the world. Don't be a siloed, lovingly ignorant, one-sided person. You need to get data from all over the airplane. Why? Because you have everything in common with people on the other side. So anyway, I'm gonna go to I don't go too far down that. Siriana said I'm gonna have to leave Facebook. No, I'm not leaving Facebook. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay right here. They're gonna force me off of this thing. I'm not in total agreement with everybody. I respect what everybody wants to do, but to me, I like to talk about the truth. We're gonna talk about the truth until they say don't talk about the truth. And I I have a different perspective on the whole Facebook censoring thing. I don't think that these companies want to censor. I think these companies want to make money. Google, it was Yahoo back then, and now it's Twitter and Facebook and Google. I think they just want to make money. And as long as you don't go too far down that rabbit hole, the CIA, the FBI, whatever, doesn't tell them to shut you down. I don't think I go too far down that rabbit hole, sister. But if I do, then they'll shut me down. Okay, I'm fine with that. But you know what? While this dwarf draws breath, he will be swinging his axe, because the only purpose of an adult is to ensure the next generation is better equipped, better prepared, and has a better environment to grow in than the current one. And right now, too many ignorant people have microphones. Too many siloed people have microphones. I sound like a damn record sometimes, but there ain't a damn thing liberating about liberals. There's not a damn thing conservative about conservatives. The evangelicals, they don't even know Christ. The Democrats hate democracy. The Republicans can't even spell republic anymore. So like all these groups, it's all BS because all their leaders are BS. And so adults have to start voting again. The vast majority, I don't know if the voting works, but the vast majority of adults have to start speaking again. Because the BS artists, they run the whole chicken coop, and they can't continue to run the whole chicken coop. They can't continue to talk about Trump and some damn koi. Like, they need to talk about Chiquita Banana and the damn bananas behind me. That's what they need to talk about. All the people they murdered underneath those healthy, delicious bananas. Like, can you see the bananas? Hold on. Hold on a second. Can you see the damn bananas? Let me get this damn airplane in the way. Hold on. I'm over here. Y'all got me saying words I'm not supposed to. You see the bananas right there? The bananas are healthy, green, and delicious because there's a lot of murdered people under those bananas. There isn't a damn reason on this planet while every grocery store in the United States, it sells only Chiquita bananas. That should not exist. You know how many people Monsanto murdered? There ain't a damn reason that company should even exist. Dow Chemical, all of them. DuPont, they're all, you know how many people they murdered in Vietnam alone? We need to be putting these people, let me show you, hold on, I'm not done. I'm supposed to be done. I'm way over my time, but y'all got me going this morning a little bit. I think about this stuff, and you know how evil it is. Like, honestly. And then so the Honduras Hernandez, he's over in Israel. He's like marching with Egypt, and we all friends and everything. And I'm just sitting here, and the Christians here like, oh, that's a good thing. Yeah, And I'm sitting like, these people were raping nuns. How evil do you get? Do you think Jesus is sitting up in heaven right now like, yeah, that's a good job. Y'all raping nuns. Yep. Evangelicals, conservatives support that. That's a good idea. And with the whole, all right, hold on. I'll show you something. None of this makes any damn sense. This is the problem. Because in America, this would never happen. Oh, not drinking. Not that. I'm sorry. Not Di Serono. Damn it. Sometimes that just kind of happens. Let me put that off of there. I don't promote no alcohol. That's probably what's wrong with y'all now. You killed all your brain cells drinking all that alcohol. Anyway, look at this. This would never happen in America. People mad in Greece. Hold on. This is the Greek. They are crashing and breaking into the labor ministry. Do you know in America what would happen if you even thought about doing that? That's a thought crime. You would be in prison. Because both parties rolling out the police state to make sure Americans will never have a voice in any politics ever in their country. And you come to me and you tell me that I need to get behind, or you want to tell me a good thing about your next politician that you want to put in office, man, you can shove that in a very dark place, because it is illegal to actually step up against your government in this country. Why? Because they both support the police state. You can sit there and cry and whine all you want about what the police do, and your party loves it. Why? Because it keeps them in power. They are the ruling class. So anyway, I don't want to go too far down that road. Look at some comments. I'm gonna get off of here. So Okay, well, I appreciate it, Sarianne. I try to get out some message. I try to put out some information there. I try to put out some of the truth, and that's what we all need to do. And by the time they come and say, okay, that's enough, Negro. Okay, you done said enough. Shut up. By the time hopefully one of y'all steps up and starts talking about the truth instead of rallying with your ignorant base, you start talking to censors on the other side of the lines, right? As a conservative, you start talking to atheists. As a left, you start talking to the right. As you people start acting like adults and stop acting ignorant. I met an ignorant guy the other day. Love him to death, but ignorant as all hell. Ignorant. So the last one I met, extremists, right? The extremists on the right and the left who just, oh, well, you can't talk to the other side because they just not reasonable. And when you say stuff like to me, that makes me the other side, because then I got to start hitting you with what you're doing, So anyway, hey, Nicholas, how you doing, brother? Well, we were talking about, I had a theory about human beings being censored this morning. I think that human beings are censors all over the planet. And I think we need to get data like a car, like an airplane, from our sensors all over the planet, instead of trying to fly an airplane or drive a car or make decisions from sensors just from one part of the vehicle. The whole earth and the whole vehicle, the human experience, the human species was designed to work together in a complete system. It kind of reminds me of, like a cat. A cat has its own intelligence because it evolved by itself. Not a lion, but like a tabby cat, right? Bobcat. They're solitary creatures. They don't need anybody. They don't need any damn thing. They evolved with all types of nasty monsters, big wolf packs and bears, and they survived. But you look at the wolves, the dogs, they have a herd intelligence, right? They have a pack intelligence where they need input from all the different wolves. What's going on in that part of the kingdom? I'm over here in this part and I see something and I'm howling this morning. But on the other side, he hears that the other one, he's like, oh, damn it, oh, what? There's some deer over there? Damn it, let me let it. And he passed the message on. And I think human beings are like that. I think we have a pack intelligence, but when we don't listen to each other, when we become so ignorant that, no, I don't want to listen, that's Julio. I don't want to listen to Julio's howl. Now, he's lying anyway, ain't no bears over there. I think we have to share data. And so my analogy that I'm thinking about, let me know what you think about. I think that we're like a car or an airplane with 7 billion different sensors all over the planet. And when we don't listen to the data that's coming in from Syria, from Russia, not the 1%, but the 99% from Colombia and Honduras, when they're telling us that, hey, your government's in our government and they're doing dirt, y'all need to stop putting the dirty people in power for whatever little tiddlywinks and shiny crap that y'all getting. And so that's what we're kind of talking about. I'm a little hard on the West because we talk about dumb stuff. We talk about ignorant things and we ignore human rights for the little nice shiny things we can get because we won the birth lottery. And this is why, y'all get mad at me, but I don't get on the white privilege boat. I say shut the hell up. Why? Because you're an American privilege. You got American privilege. You've got birth privilege. If you were born in a Western modernized country, you ain't got nothing to say about nobody. You need to shut that. All right, let me stop. You need to think about how blessed you are and realize that, half the world's population has to walk over 2 miles a day just to get some damn water. Oh, that reminds me of something positive I want to talk about. This is something positive. I saw somebody brought into me the other day. I'm going to say this and I'm done. I think it's called Wells for Kenya. I have to go out and look at the website. I was going to post it, but it's the most awesome thing. I love solutions and I love people who come up with solutions. But apparently there's this company and what they're doing is they are building wells for people. I know I got mad about the privilege thing, but I'm going down the route and I'm independent. What they're doing is they're building wells in arid climates for people. And the example I had, one was Kenya, which was amazing, right? You buy products or you give a donation. The people there are making products if you bought one or just a donation. And we send technology in, drilling equipment. Instead of drilling for some damn oil, we drill for water. So these little towns are starting to get water wells all over these arid climates. Makes some damn sense. Why do I love that as a solution? Because it's prevention. I looked in Webster's dictionary the other day. Prevention is still in there. We can still do that, people. Violence exists because human beings don't have food, water, or houses. When human beings have food, water, and a house, and you leave them hell alone, there's no reason for violence. Once again, they become bonobos. They become peaceful things as opposed to chimps and violence. So when you meet a company that actually is doing something good, again, I think it's called Wells for Kenya. I have to look them up a little more. A friend of mine is a lot closer with them. But with your donations or your purchases, I think they sell jewelry and stuff. They actually dig wells in Kenya. People get water. People get the things that they need. They have some more sustainable local communities. There's less reason for violence, right? They can tolerate the crap that our government does in their countries and putting in sellout, corrupt governments, destabilizing them. Less violence happens, and we get to a place where terrorists start disappearing. We don't start seeing terrorists everywhere. They run out of the ability to make poor people into these terrorist narratives. But anyway, I didn't get to half of what I wanted to talk about this morning. I didn't have a whole lot of time, but that's what I'm thinking about this morning. We are sensors. We are connected all over the planet by something called the internet. Please do your part. Listen to other people. Get all the data you can so you can make very good decisions in terms of where this spaceship Earth thing is going, because nobody's piloting it. It's just flying in the air, and there's just ignorant corporations, perhaps, running everything on the planet that is driving it into a profit death. Because we who actually know better and finally have a means of talking to people and getting sensor data from every country all over the world, too many of us refuse to do that because we are lost in ignorance land. So anyway, it's Gerard coming to y'all from the tropical, beautiful, lush jungles of Honduras and the delicious blood bananas, because it's all blood. Y'all have a good day.